Hi, I'm Holly M. Wendt, and I will read to you a little bit from the opening of my debut novel, Heading North. Chapter 1. A lone firework flares red over Parov's downtown glow, while Viktor Myrnikov and Nikolai Stepnov tighten the laces of their hockey skates on the snowy canal bank and step onto the narrow ice, sticks in hand. The New Year celebration means 4 days without games, 2 days when the Parov Iron Tigers won't even practice. But here, now, they find ice. Each stride slices the quiet, a sound like silver, a sound like the fog pluming their mouths as they cross and recross their little rink. Viktor breathes in the cloud of Nikolai's wake, then curls the puck away to circle one of their sneakers and snowbank goals. The clear, hard tap of Nikolai's stick on the ice, to me, shudders through Viktor's skate blades and up, coiling in his hands. The puck leaps toward the sound. Nikolai charges, and their game begins in earnest. Here is Viktor's goal to defend, there his to attack. Nikolai calls their game shinny, a word stolen from his father, who picked it up from a career played with Canadians all over the NHL. Whatever they call it, hockey is hockey. They will argue about whether the puck has crossed the invisible line or slipped wide. No arbitrator but the moonlight reflected by snow, and whoever is more stubborn. That, too, is part of the joy. Nikolai skates a little farther, and the ice hums, a thin crack somewhere beneath them, an easing settle. The canal's meter of water is the least of their danger. While Nikolai passes to himself, canal bank to skate blade, remnants of cheering arrive on the air, likely the end of the ice carving contest. And under it, Viktor listens to Nikolai's building speed. Nikolai skates right into him, his shoulder to Viktor's chest, a shove and a promise as they scrabble stick and stick. Nikolai leans, bites the earlobe under Viktor's knit hat, and kicks the puck between Viktor's feet. He takes 2 swift strides and snaps his wrists. A spray of snow flies up from the goal bank. Viktor whistles the interference as Nikolai laughs over the pop and glitter of another firework, then 2, the slurring noise of song in the distance. This is what they've skipped. The too easy, too careless affection of being drunk, the raucous claustrophobia of the city's celebration. Viktor shakes off a chill and bends into their imaginary face-off circle and tries to think of hockey, only hockey. But there is Nikolai across from him, level with his eyes. Nikolai wins the draw, and when he feints left a third time, Viktor pulls the puck to his own blade. Draggy seams of snow ripple the canal ice, but the air is dry, fast and snapping, clean enough that Viktor can imagine the iron in his blood calling north and north toward the goal, always hockey's pole star. He flicks the puck over the line even as Nikolai's hip catches his. Nikolai spins away and back. Even if they play against each other, success is always something to celebrate. He raises his hand to slap Viktor's. Viktor stretches up, lifts his hand full height, so Nikolai has to jump. An excuse to catch and be caught. Dick, Nikolai says, laughing. He rests the padded fist of his glove under Viktor's jaw, brushes an uppercut softly from chin to cheek. The NHL is going to love you. As soon as it knows you exist, lingers unspoken. Everyone knows who Nikolai is. He is Kirill Stepnov's son. Knowing Nikolai has been good for Viktor's career. The scouts who come to see him can't help but see Viktor, whose passes are so often the launch point of Nikolai's attack. The trouble is, it will end both their careers, Viktor is certain, if anyone discovers all the ways they know each other. The trouble is, with Nikolai, someone is always looking. Okay, and I'm going to read you a second section. This is from Chapter 2 and the introduction to Lilia Aliev, general manager of the San Francisco Pilots, and Nikolai's stepmother. 2. Lilia slides the list of players she's planning to select at the June entry draft across her father's wide, dark desk, the way she did at 16, 17, 18, when her draft notebook was only theory and prediction, not the material shape of the pilot's future. She's already imagining the stars and circles of his agreement, broad and bold under the fountain pen's fat nib. Her first draft as general manager, her whole life sharpened for this point. Peter Aliev's hand slides down the page, pen cap as pointer as he reads. The hand reverses. With 3 swift slashes, he strikes away choices she has made. What are you? Stop! She pulls back on the stapled papers and he pins them down. A corner tears off in her hand. You need to pick players who are going to fit here, right away. He writes in the name of an American center over her second-round pick, a goalie from Finland. We already have good net minding. The Pilots have an adequate, aging starting goaltender, a truly decent man with a teenage daughter who never seems to hate him, the kind who should now be a competent backup and a strong mentor. Her father taps his pen on the center's name. This one scores goals. In a league with historically terrible goaltending, if the kid's father weren't a Hall of Famer, no one would take him above the 5th round. She spent the last 20 years studying these leagues and their characters. Her father has spent his whole life making money and spending it. That's how he ended up with a share in the San Francisco Pilots 3 decades ago. Peter makes a dismissive sound about 2 of her choices for forwards, too, calls them too small, incapable of forechecking. When she tells him about their speed, their puck handling, he says, hockey is not ballet. She would keep arguing. Chasing big hits usually means you're chasing the puck too, except he doesn't ink them over. The 3rd name he's crossed out belongs to Viktor Myrnikov. She jabs her finger beside Viktor's name. He's not small. He's 6'8", and he's like watching Yevgeny Bodrov at the same age, a goal-scoring, puck-moving defenseman. We need blue liners who can contribute offensively. That's what forwards are for, Peter says, parroting head coach Craig Walkinshaw. Late last summer, after he bought out the other owners as a retirement present for himself, and between firing the previous general manager and promoting her, Peter brought back Walkinshaw, who had been assistant coach when the team last went to the Stanley Cup Finals. That old tie to greatness meant something to her father. That's why Kirill was re-signed in the first place. Peter writes in the name of a defenseman who's almost as tall and half again as broad as Viktor. Shane Possett led his Division I conference in block shots and has the distinction of being the slowest skater on the list. Lilia reaches across the table, takes the pages, folds the names and her father's heavy scrawl out of sight. Thank you, she says, for your input. She makes sure she stands up deliberately, both hands on the table, and hopes her foundation is masking the heat in her cheeks. Tomorrow morning, she'll get on a plane with her assistant general manager and her scouting director, and they'll fly to St. Paul and choose the players she wants. Peter rolls his chair back a few inches from the desk and sits back, interlacing the fingers he rests on his stomach. Do you know, he says, everyone still thinks I'm a fool for hiring you. Everyone means the other owners, men like himself. For hiring you means not just his own daughter, but a woman, any woman. She makes sure she closes his door quietly, waits till she's in the elevator to whisper, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, to the panel of buttons, the blurrily reflective ceiling, the tiled floor. Thank you.